What's up, you guys? I'm just getting ready. It's like the morning and Andrew's still sleeping, but I'm just up a little early putting on my clothes and my bug sprays and all that. So still in Ecuador, and yeah, still dealing with the house stuff. Just everything just keeps breaking, and there's always an issue, and it's always like beyond repair, like, you know. And sometimes the people that work for me or like are taking care of the issue are nice, and sometimes they're just like, oh, this is not fixable, you just got to give me 5,000. I mean, this is literally what happened before. Like, just the issues with your house are just beyond repair, you have to give me $5,000. It was actually $10,000 for me to fix it, and I'll start. You give me the $5,000 up front, and then I'll work on it. And once it's completed, you can give me the next $5,000. I remember like $5,000 up front. Ran off, didn't finish the job, whatever the job was. Didn't actually do the job, but did actually cause, because they like started it and then broke a bunch of things open, and then so then I had to pay for someone to like undo the start that they did. Anyway, just shit like that. I mean, it's very common. And when I started in real estate, I just fell to a lot of scams, and in general, you know, all kinds of scams in any kind of business, either as a real estate agent, where you fall to scams where, you know, a brokerage will say, hey, join our brokerage, we'll help you make money. And when you join their brokerage, they make you buy like a whole bunch of shit. You end up spending like thousands of dollars up front to be part of the brokerage, so that maybe you can maybe someday make money. But when you're a new agent, you don't know that you're not supposed to be spending so much money just to be part of a brokerage. You can make money separate from that, and the thing, the value that you're getting from your money is very different than what they're selling you. So things that you learn after doing things for a long time. That's why people that are older are generally better at business. People that are older are wiser, you know, because they've been in the world long enough to, or they've been in that industry long enough to have seen when people are scamming them or trying to make them pay more for something that should be very cheap. So that's something I've been experiencing a lot in real estate, and it's definitely gotten easier over time, but it's still hard for me. You know, I was never a good negotiator. I never was able to, you know, I just didn't never have the personality for it when I was having jobs. It was always like, all right, okay, you're getting paid $35K, and I'll be like, cool. I never came in with what I wanted, and if I did, I was really, really unconvincing at it. I want to make 60K. Why do you want to make 60K? And 60K, by the way, is nothing in DC, but I just didn't know how to ask for what I needed. Didn't even know what I needed. So I would come in and be like, all right, I need 60K. Why do you need 60K? I don't know. It would just be really nice. And I smile. And of course, they're like, well, obviously I'm not going to pay you that much. And so real estate has been a crash course in how to lose a lot of money that you don't have very fast. That's what real estate has been for me for the past few years when I got into it. How to lose a lot of money that you don't have very fast to contractors. Come in and be like, all right, your husband's paying for this, obviously, right? Because you don't look smart enough to be doing any of this shit yourself. And it's like, nope, I'm really dumb enough to be doing this shit, actually. So one thing being in a country like Ecuador or Colombia, like any country that's cheaper than the United States, taught me about business is being able to negotiate on things on a much smaller scale without losing a lot. So if I could redo everything, what I would tell myself, young Pardis, is don't go into real estate. First, spend a lot of time in the third world. That's what I would have done. I would have told young Pardis, don't bother wasting time in the US trying to get all these jobs. Don't bother wasting your time in real estate. Spend a few years outside of the United States in a much cheaper country where you're gonna get gringoed. And Ecuador is a really good example. Like Ecuador is the ultimate place where you're gonna get scammed and gringoed, because in Ecuador there's a lot of Americans, like white people that are older, that are generally not like entrepreneurs. They usually come here with a lot of cash, and so obviously they're not gonna be negotiating. They're not gonna be good negotiators. So they're gonna come here with a bunch of cash for retirement. It's a place for retirement, and people know that, and so they kind of treat everybody like that. Like this restaurant we went to is like, this is the shittiest restaurant ever. And you know, when I say restaurant, you're thinking about restaurants in the US, like, oh, okay, well, they have a staff, they have a, you know, they need to pay their bills. It's like, no, by restaurant I mean like barely a structure out in the jungle that barely has a few cooking utensils, and there's one guy running the whole thing. And it's like, anyway, we go to this restaurant, and we have, like, you know, it's the morning, have a cup of coffee, and a cup of coffee is like included in the breakfast, like, and like everything $5, which is pretty standard for a meal in Ecuador, $5. But in breakfast, if you go for breakfast, usually they'll include a cup of coffee with it too. So we're sitting and having our coffee, and I'm like, do you guys have any milk for the coffee? And they're like, yeah. And so they just add some milk in our coffee, and like a little bit of milk. And then we get the bill, and it's like they charge $2 extra for added milk in the coffee. And like, I didn't say anything. But the next time I went, when they were telling us what's for breakfast, the next time I went, I said, how much does breakfast cost? They said $5. How much does the coffee cost? Doesn't cost anything, it's included in the breakfast. How much does it cost if I want to add some milk to my coffee? Nothing. Why would it cost anything? And I gave him a look like, dude, you charged me $2 last time for for adding milk to my coffee. And stuff like that. Like, there's no official accounting because it's all cash. So like, people can just take your money for anything. Like, I mean, and then it happened yesterday or 2 days ago. Oh no, yesterday when we went to that place two towns over, and kind of like the same thing. We go in there, we're like, the meals like $5. You know, meals are usually like $5 in Ecuador. And so we go to we get this like, hola. So we get this meal that we got before, we liked it. So we get this meal, and they're like, hey, don't you want to change it up this time? Like, don't you want your meal to look a little different? Like, you know, a different style or whatever? And I was like, sure. And they're like, it'll be really good. It's much more delicious. And I was like, okay, cool. So we let them change it. Same exact dish, same exact side, same exact everything. They just switched up the meat. They made it taste a little different and a different style of cooking. I don't know, dude. This is like in a shack. Like, they're cooking this in a shack. So like, I don't know what's different style of cooking. But anyways, we just wanted to try something new. $10 for each one. Like, so they basically doubled the price on the fly because we didn't like upfront set our price. And I think that just teaches you a lot for everything, any kind of business, with construction, with real estate, with any kind of business negotiation. You set your expectations. I want a glass of milk. How much does it cost? And then you agree on it up front. They know what they're getting for what you're giving. They know what they're giving you for you giving them. And I find that this has been helpful, not just when I'm paying for stuff, but also when I'm receiving services, when I'm paying people. It's like when I have contractors working for me. So I'll say, all right, so I need blah, 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 blah. Like, how much does it cost for you to do this? I don't know, $300. Okay, so I need you to do this and this and this and this by this time. Like, clear instructions, like clear, like this is what I need, and I will pay you X at this time. Like, the more specific you are about what your expectations are from the other party, whether it's as the buyer or the seller, just the better things go. You get what you want. You kind of guarantee your money's value, and everyone's happy, you know? I will do this for X amount of dollars. Like, you just set your expectations up front, and don't wait until the last minute when a person can, based on how hard they worked or based on you spend some time in their restaurant and they realize that you don't belong in a dingy hut in the middle of a jungle, so they can charge you more. Like, just, you don't wait for them to change their mind on their expectations. You set those expectations up front, and you keep setting it. If you keep going back to that person, you say, all right, how much does breakfast cost? And even if they explain it to you a million times, you keep doing it, so they don't change your mind midway and say, oh, well, you know what, today breakfast is $20. It's like, dude, they don't even charge some of these the amount that they will upcharge you for different things. Like, I mean, it just keeps happening here, and it's effing annoying. But I realize that this is life, and this is a perfect way for me to practice my business negotiation skills in a very low risk setting. It is a low risk setting. What are you gonna lose most? You're gonna lose maximum like $20 at a time? $5, $2? What are you gonna lose at a time by effing this up back in the States? $20,000, $10,000. The scale at which you're gonna lose out by making mistakes is so much higher in the US. So wouldn't you rather be making these mistakes in the third world, where you're doing it at a human level? Build up your confidence, build up your skills. And then once you're really good at it, you can go back and do real estate. And that's another reason why I'm so glad to be, I made my decision. It's like, just quit US real estate for now, because it's just, there's so much to lose right now that I don't have. I'm losing a lot that I don't have. And when I was there, it was more stressful because it was like places I was living in, and then I had a really high burn rate, but it's still stressful now because I'm realizing that there's other things I could be doing with my money, or at least not losing my money while I build in another country. So anyway, hopefully that was not so confusing. I'm gonna go and put on some more bug spray, and I'll see you guys in the next video.